Should we start?
Yes, let's start.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Cravings with Adventures. I'm Karen Ahmed and I'm so excited today because I have my friend Soma who is with us all the way from the Bay Area, San Jose, California. Soma and I go way back. How many years has it been, Soma? Like 6 years?
6 years easily.
6 years. So I met Soma. Soma is, she's the head of partnerships in a startup. And I joined that company many years ago with my channel. And Soma was my first point of contact. And ever since then, we've become friends. It started over email, then we became friends on Facebook. And I almost met her 2 years ago when I visited San Francisco and she wasn't there. But, our friendship has got very deep. And I think we have a lot in common. Soma and I are both lovers of stories. We love stories. We love the stories of food. We love the stories of who made them. And I think this is one thing that we have in common. Well, today, Zoom has made everything so easy and so accessible. So I invited Soma to join us to show us how to make this delicious Bengali curry. Soma, what is this curry called?
This is called Doi Mach.
Doi Mach.
It's a classic. In fact, this curry was we just celebrated Rabindranath Tagore's birthday. It was on Friday, and this curry is supposedly a curry which was cooked in the Tagore kitchen.
Oh my God!
And,
really?
Yeah, and it is a very classic curry, and it's cooked in every Bengali families. But the point is, like, some cook it some way, we cook it different way. But this is like a classic in my family, especially my husband's, and this was probably the first curry I ever tried to replicate after I got married. And it has a little story, which I'll get to later as I cook. But yes, you can ask any Bengali, they will tell you about a Doi Mach.
You know what I love about Bengali? Everything sounds way sweeter in Bengali. Like, it's not just rasgulla, it's the rasgulla.
Rasgulla.
Everything sounds better.
I know.
Bengali. But yeah, so thank you so much, Soma, for joining us because I don't cook a lot of Bengali food, and I love you. And I'm so excited to learn how to make this, so I can also cook Bengali food in my house. So over to you.
Absolutely. So let me take you through the ingredients before we get started. Obviously, we need fish. And you know what? You can make this with practically any fish. But we Bengalis, we have typically some fish that we cook this curry with. So it's either, in Bengali, we call it rohu. It's like a carp. It's the same family of carp, and a rohu or a katla. That's what we generally cook this with. Any big carp sort of a fish. Right. So here, either I get my fish from the Bangladeshi store where they import it from Bangladesh, or I generally go to any Asian grocery store and get maybe a grass carp or anything like that, and I can cook this with catfish even. I mean, any fish.
So any normal, like if you can't get to a Bengali store or a Bangladeshi store, catfish, or can you cook it with any other fish, or is it just particular kind?
So generally, this fish actually works well with. I cook this with salmon also.
Okay.
So it works well with big steak-like pieces rather than any
chunky
fillet.
Fish.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just that you can cook it with any fish, but traditionally Bengalis cook this with, as I said, rohu or katla or something like that.
Okay.
So, so this is the fish that I have taken here. This is about 300 grams of rohu, and this is again from the Bangladeshi store. To keep it very authentic, I have taken the real thing here, and. So what I'm going to do is, like, this fish, as I said, 300 grams, I'm going to put some turmeric and salt and kind of marinate that a bit, and then go on to fry this fish, okay? So let's just do that.
And turmeric is really good for people that don't use turmeric in their food. It's a great antiseptic and it has a lot of medicinal qualities.
Absolutely.
And we've been using it for generations. But don't get it anywhere near your white cabinets.
I know, but turmeric is something which we always use, like in Indian food, Asian food, and it's great. Actually, we end up taking so much turmeric, we don't have to actually supplement it. And sometimes a lot of people say, "Why don't you take some supplements of turmeric?" I'm like, so much turmeric we take in our food.
That's true.
So as you can see, I'm rubbing this, turmeric and salt in my fish pieces, and just like a couple of minutes maybe.
Yeah.
And then I'll go on to I'll move on to my stove and get
nice
this
kadai there.
So another thing about Bengali cooking is we cook most of our dishes in mustard oil. Okay, so again,
I love mustard oil. I love it.
Mustard oil, it's a little bit. I mean, here I think I'm using about 3 big tablespoons easily of mustard oil, because I'm going to be cooking the sauce in the same oil. So this is all probably you need. And you might need a little bit later on, a little bit more. So I'll guide you as I cook along. So I'll just wait. So another tip for any fish is, when you are heating the oil has to be actually very well heated. That's one thing. Otherwise, the fish actually generally sticks, or there might be other issues, but oil has to be really heated. And you have to be careful with your fish, of course.
And I've heard too, mustard oil always has to be heated very, very well.
Very well.
Smoking point.
Yeah. Smoking point, and smells wonderful.
I love mustard oil. I love it.
So I'm just giving it a little bit of time until I'm just, sure that this is well heated. But tell me something, Karen. You guys also cook a lot of fish in Goa, and I love Goan cuisine.
Yeah.
And I think the difference is, like, you guys do not fry the fish, right? It's just
no. So in Goa, we use a lot of coconut oil as opposed to mustard oil. And typically, yes, the fish is not in the curry. The fish is just inserted in this very masala curry. Personally, though, I prefer to fry my fish. In our family, my husband prefers it that way. My dad prefers it that way. And I feel like it's nice to give the fish a little bit of a fry, because then it becomes really firm when it enters the curry. So whenever I make a fish, I always say in Goa, typically they will just put the fish into the curry, but I always like to fry it before.
So here I'm placing the fish. And thanks to you, Karen, my husband is already thanking you, because they will get to eat Doi Mach today.
Yes.
So, yeah. I'll give it, we don't need to fry this actually really a lot. So maybe a little bit here, maybe I would say a minute on each side.
Yeah.
Probably a minute. And the funny story about this dish is, as I was telling you, so when I got married, I used to live in Calcutta, and my husband used to live in Delhi. And the typical Bengali families, we get married in joint families, live with our in-laws, and I was not expected to do anything, because my mother-in-law always, she had help, and she would, take fancy and cook one dish. Otherwise, we had maids who would do it. So I kind of, I used to crave for that, typical wife feeling where I get to cook something, and I never got to do that. It's just like you tell what you want to eat, and people would cook that for you. So my escape should be whenever I would travel to Delhi to my husband, and we would do this every alternate month. 1 month he would be traveling, and 1 month I would be traveling. And the time when I would be there, I would take an auto and go to Chittaranjan Park and buy fresh fish, and then I wouldn't know how to cook it. And then he would keep on telling me, "Oh, my mom cooks the best Doi Mach, and you should learn it from her." So I would be on the phone, "Can you tell me how to cook Doi Mach?" And she's like, "Okay, do this. This is like generally very casual."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I don't know how to cook it. Do you tell me?" So the first time I cooked it, so another epic dish for us is mishti doi, sweetened yogurt.
Yeah.
So I cooked this completely with sweetened yogurt. You generally don't cook it with mishti doi, but I cooked it. It was so good that time, the first time I cooked. And I haven't been able to replicate that entire thing without anything, without knowing anything. I just cooked it, and my husband still tells me, "Oh, that was the best fish you ever cooked."
It's so amazing, like Soma and I were talking about this yesterday on a call, that traditional recipes are always, they're not really documented properly. All of our parents and our grandparents would just say, throw some of this, throw some of that, and just make it happen. Whereas now what we are trying to do, both Soma and I in our own ways, is actually documenting these recipes for the next generation. Because all of our kids are not going to know how to make these dishes if we don't put this together.
Yeah, that's one thing why I blog, is probably for my daughter and living here. So here's the fish. I've fried it. Now the next step would be to put in some aromatics here, and here is it. So I have just roughly crushed some cardamoms. Here's some about a teaspoon and a half of whole cumin seeds, some cinnamon sticks, and some cloves. So cloves, cardamom, green cardamom, cinnamon sticks, and cumin seeds. So that goes. And then I would be also putting in 1 bay leaf. So just letting it, the traditional Indian way of letting it be
tadka,
and let it get fragrant, yet it should not burn.
Right.
Then I actually throw in about half a cup of onion.
This onion is very finely chopped. Wow, it's almost.
No, I just put it in the food processor.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's there, and I would be actually putting in some salt at this stage. So another thing about Bengali cooking, I know a lot of my Southern Indian friends get offended literally, is we put in a lot of sugar in our food, just like Gujaratis. So it has to be that balance, of sugar and salt. So even fish, for example, this dish, it has a lot of sugar too. So a good, 1.5 teaspoon of sugar. And another thing that I learned, by the way, I will now, as I'm just, barely frying this, I would be throwing in about here, I have 1 tablespoon of ginger and a small clove of garlic. Now, this is one thing. A lot of people don't give garlic in this dish, but I do. I just give a small clove, which works for me. And I use Thai green chilies, which I don't have now. So this is a green pepper, some kind of a green pepper I was growing. It's in my garden. Right. So I just, pick that and put half of that. So that's what goes in next.
So typically it's mostly ginger and chili, green chili.
Ginger, chili, and a small clove of garlic. Very small. In fact, just negligible.
Okay.
So you can put, so this is meaning, sometimes I put a clove of garlic, sometimes I don't. It's just like optional. But basically, this is the trinity of any Indian cooking, like onion, ginger, garlic. And the masala that you're doing, it has to be really, really cooked well. I mean, this is the stage which decides how your dish will turn out. Because this is something which in Bengali we say koshano. Koshano means how you fry it. So this is something I learned from my mom. And my mother-in-law is like, the onion, ginger, garlic should be fried so well that there should not be any raw smell. So this step, I would.
What did you say that was called? Koshano?
Koshano is like, frying the ginger, onion, ginger, garlic.
Okay.
This is called the koshano of any dish. That's a typical Bengali.
See, this is so amazing. You're learning how to make a Bengali curry, but you're also learning some Bengali as we go.
Yes.
Soma.
Bengali words.
Yeah,
Ami tomake bhalobashi.
Of course, that's the only thing we know.
Everybody knows. Anybody says, Ami tomake bhalobashi. Come on.
There's more than that.
Yeah. So, and the strange part about this dish, so it's a joke in my family actually. So this dish, as I said, this is my mom-in-law's a classic, and my daughter still now, she says that Ammu makes the best Doi Mach. So it's always a little competition between me and my mother-in-law, like who cooks the best Doi Mach.
But I sense that you guys have a very good relationship, so I don't think it matters.
No, it does not. So my daughter knows that I make the best fish fry and she makes the best Doi Mach. So it's a subtle competition,
Yeah.
So, but she is great.
Now, is your mother-in-law with you there, or is she in?
No, she's in Calcutta.
She's in Calcutta. Okay.
I spoke with her for long today, and she's like me exactly. She has to cook something or the other. And now that the maids and everybody, no one's coming.
Yeah.
So she's cooking a lot. So she just gave me a recipe for another fish curry this morning. So I said, okay, fine, I'll try that out when I can.
Yeah, that's all. I was just thinking this morning because it's Mother's Day. By the way, happy Mother's Day to everyone. I was just thinking because my mom, I only got a chance to do one video with her, and I feel so sad that I didn't get a chance to kind of squeeze all of that, because they have the best recipes.
I had seen Auntie. I think the way I followed Auntie, and when she passed, it was such a shock. I mean,
yeah.
And she was so young. Literally, she was just celebrated her 70th birthday.
Correct. She was 71 when she passed away. Yeah.
Yeah, and so fun dancing.
She was such a great cook. She was like a nervous cook though. She was like, I don't know how you do things so fast, but she did things in her own time. She was very meticulous, but her food was amazing. Like really,
I can imagine, Karen, and I've seen her go through that time. I mean,
yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But she's in a better place, and she's blessed me with her, her passion for food. So we have to keep.
And your compassion and your zest for life.
Yeah.
I mean, I just watch you. You have so much energy. You are so much fun. You're so loving.
I love, there's no point. Like my dad always says, you only have one life. You have to live it to the fullest. And my dad has a great attitude too. He's like, no point sitting and crying over, spilt milk. She's gone now. You have to pick yourself up and, do other things.
Uncle is in India now?
He's in Bombay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we are almost done with that, so here is a little more than half. So I generally take about 2/3 cup of yogurt, and this is plain Greek yogurt. And I have taken about 2 teaspoons of cumin powder, 1.5 teaspoon of coriander powder, and 1 teaspoon of red chili powder. Okay. And I have taken a good 2 tablespoons of sugar. So. Yeah, this is where
why your mystery doi worked really well.
Yeah, and I whipped the yogurt. This I did before itself. So I just took it out from the can and I whipped it really, really well. Okay. And then I mix in the masala, and this is what goes in at this stage. The recipe is nothing, it's not a tough one, but it's just like...
It's different though. I think it's very different, especially with the sugar and
simple. But
sometimes, you see recipes, they have the same ingredients, but it's the process that actually makes it different.
Yeah. So this is now. I'll be, mixing it in, and then probably, depending on how much sauce or gravy you want, you'll probably add water. And certainly again, very casually done. It's like, you could add a little bit of water or maybe a little. Generally, this dish is a little dry on the dry side.
Okay.
Not a really soupy dish, I would say.
Okay.
But yes, again, it's very casual. It's up to you. So I would probably, fry this thing a little bit, maybe 2-3 minutes, and then again the koshano part is.
That's important.
That's important. That's the Bengali.
Because if you didn't get that right, it wouldn't be here.
Yeah, this is where
I can smell it from here. The mustard.
But you know what, Karen? I would love for you to come here again. I mean, I missed you last time.
I know. It's so sad. I even baked a cake for you. I brought a fruit cake. I brought it back home and then I ate it myself.
I know we suddenly just planned to go to Mexico.
Yeah.
And, it was winter and just missed seeing you. So about that much of, water I'm just throwing in the same bowl in which I had the yogurt.
Yep.
So pretty much, this is what it is. And you could, possibly add a little bit more of water too, just to kind of
I know you have a 16-year-old daughter, and I follow her, and she's doing amazing things. So she really into cooking as well with you?
No, she cooks. She actually this morning she did breakfast and everything, but she has very typical
Her own ideas. Very Americanized.
I'll cook this, I'll cook that. I'm better than you. I make better macarons than you. I'm like,
okay, she's 16 years old, right? So
I will now throw in the fish. So this, the fish goes in.
Nice. I feel like I can make this tonight. If only I had the
fish. And and I would also, in the end, try the seasoning, because it might need a little bit more of salt, just the balance just before you are ready.
Right.
So that and one other little thing is all we would need. Almost ready.
That's looking really good.
And another little thing here, my mother-in-law actually, she puts raisins in this this curry.
Raisins?
Yeah, raisins. She would put raisins. I mean, I never do that, but that's the reason why my daughter likes it. It's so sweet and
yeah.
But I never do that. I just find it.
What do you typically eat this with? Do you eat it with rice or roti?
It's with rice. Absolutely, right. Any fish dish is probably
always with rice.
With rice. So this is almost this is done, and the last thing that goes in is a little bit of garam masala. So maybe a teaspoon of garam masala. And this is something I'm using a powder, but back home what they would do is like our garam masala, the Bengali garam masala is basically just cardamom and cinnamon stick. They just...
That was my next question, because I noticed that your garam masala is way more redder than the garam masala that I make. So I was going to say, this looks a little different, but I'm presuming you have this recipe somewhere on your blog. And I'm gonna link everything at the end of this video.
Yeah, so here the fish is ready. I would, just plate this, and then probably this is the point. I would just go in and maybe taste a little. No, the salt is perfect. Generally, it has so much of sugar. Sometimes the salt is something which you need in the end a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is pretty much fine. So there you go. This is ready.
I'm sure Samrat will come running down already. I'm sure he can smell it.
Yeah, he is like, he was planning to order some food. So I was like, no, I'll be cooking Doi Mach. She's like, oh, fine. And my daughter is like, can you make some fish fry too?
So, that's it. Dinner sorted.
Dinner sorted.
Yeah,
now I can take a nap.
Well, this is amazing. Honestly, thank you so much.
So I hope you enjoy this recipe. They make it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like, I feel like I'm in your kitchen, and I think this is great. This is a great part of this series, is to just learn how to make your food. It's like, when you make it and then talk about the ingredients and just your passion and your stories, it makes like one complete experience. So
absolutely, it's like human interaction.
I loved it. Well, thank you so much on behalf of all of you on Cravings. I'm sure everyone's going to enjoy it. Guys, don't worry. The recipe is going to be linked in the description, on Facebook, on Instagram, everywhere. Make sure you're following Soma. She is freaking amazing. And she is just my kind of gal. Love her.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Soma.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate you, having you in my life, and virtual hugs, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Take care.
50,000 subscribers.
Yes.
Congratulations.
And onwards and upwards, right?
Onwards and upwards. And and check her the channel out on Roku.
Yes, absolutely. Check me out on Roku. I have my own Roku channel. Thanks to Soma. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.